Don't forget to weld your pieces. What's going on, mechanics? This is Now Let Us Play. My name is Zarklin, and today we're going to be building some garage doors. So I had a request from a couple people after I put out a little clip of my roll-up garage door to do a tutorial on how we put that together. So I'm going to take you through. I will put timestamps in the description below for each element of the build. And then at the end, I'm going to go into how to kind of trick the texture mapping if you're really concerned about where your seams are in these doors. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to build the door. For these I've built, they are a 12 by 15 door with 3 panels. First off, if you're concerned about the texture mapping, you'll need to do this step. With the wood, it appears it's on a 4 block, so if you build right off the ground, you get your seams. You get your seams at the edges. So I put 2 blocks up here. We're going to build us 15 wide and 4 high. That's going to give you the initial panel. You can break these blocks, pick your panel back up, and that's your first panel. For the rollers that we use on the side that are coming in the track here, you're just going to use a 90 on the pipe, bearing, and one of the larger short pipes. Do that on both ends for the bottom of the door, and then we'll move on to the hinges. The hinges are going to be both a hinge and a roller in the center. You're going to use a T piece of the pipe, bearing on the outside just like before, larger pipe. And we're going to come in here with another bearing, take your 90 straight up, another 90 over, another bearing, a T facing forward, bearing, roller. And repeat that on the other side. Once you have your 2 bearings in place, you're going to build your second panel. This is the basic structure of the door. If you want to make it taller, you just repeat this more times. Come out to the front. You want to make sure that you attach to the pipe and nothing else. You'll come over your 15, up 4. You will need to take the weld tool on the side you didn't start on and weld it to the panel. Build these hinges again, and then you're ready to build the top piece. Now that the second panel and the second set of hinges are built, you can go ahead and build your final panel if you're doing the same 3-panel design. It's going to be the same procedure. Start at the pipe, over 15, up 4, and you'll repeat these rollers at the top. That's your basic door structure. Now I like doing, you can do these in 2 different ways. You can do a center pull back, which is the first example I'm going to do, or you can push them up from the bottom with a piston. When you're doing the center pull, you're going to find your center, and you're going to go 1 to either side of center with your 90s, put your bearings in the middle, and the T-pipe facing back. That's your basic door structure. Now we're going to start on the framing. Now for the basic frame, you can start with a foundation like we have here, or you can build directly on the ground. It's totally up to your design, however you want to do it. So for the frame, if you want to start with foundation, this is how I do it. You're going to go a couple wider than what your door is. You're going to want to leave a 1 block gap in the middle here for the rollers to sit in. Your door is going to be flush with these front supports. So your front support needs to be 1 higher than the door. So you need to come up 13 from the foundation. Then you're going to come 16 blocks back from this front block. Come down 1, pull it back up, leave that 1 block gap, come down, put your support in here. You need to take this corner block out and put in the bent I-beam. Repeat, same on the other side. Once the second side is done, go ahead and connect these back in the middle. Find your center, place a piston, or if you screwed up like I just did, one block shy. All right, once you actually have that at the right size, stick your piston in the middle, and go ahead and put a controller anywhere you'd like. I just like doing it inside the frame there. Place your button, connect your piston to the controller. You're going to want to set the initial position to 12, move the speed down, and the follow-up position to 0. This is going to default the door down, retract it up when you flip the switch. And don't forget, pistons will not extend until there is a block on the front. Now, if you're not worried about the textures lining up, this is all you need to do. You have the frame built, extend your piston, go ahead and take your door off the lift, get your weld tool, grab the end of the center T, weld it to the extended piston, and you see the texture shifted, and you have a functioning door. I have noticed the panels tend to shake sometimes. and occasionally you'll get a runaway bearing. I've got multiple doors in this world. I haven't seen it create any lag. If you're not worried about how the textures look on your door, you can end it here. I appreciate you watching. For those of you like me that want to make sure that these textures line up, I'm going to show you another way to build this that you can trick the system into leaving the textures alone after you weld the door. All right, so if you want to line your textures up with your seams, you can see with the wood, this really only affects wood 2 and wood 3 with the metal bracing, which I really like using that for doors. Scrap wood and wood 1 do not have that. As far as the metals, scrap metal, there is some, I haven't tried with these, but there is some patterns to the metals. There's also some patterns to the concrete, as well as the extruded metal. It appears to me that the texture mapping is based off of placement in the world, based off of ground level being where the initial texture starts. If you place a block first and then build, it is always going to go based off of that attachment. If I place another textured block, I am still getting that seam in the same spot. So what we need to do is we're going to build the door the same way, but we're going to modify the frame. I'll have this frame in the description as well, a link to it on the Steam Workshop. What you're going to do is you're going to need to leave this top open. Instead of welding your piston where you did before, you're going to move these back 1. You're going to put a riser up here. In this, because I am working off of ground level here, I added 4 blocks, 5 blocks, came out, have a piston going down with a block on it with my actual lifting piston welded to it. What that does is, in this world, it aligns my blocks to the texture that I want when I weld it. Now, this may vary in your survivor world depending on what elevation you're at. I haven't done a ton more experimenting with the textures, but as far as I can tell, that's what it is. So by having it connected to this piston and having it at a different elevation from the ground, it doesn't appear to affect the textures when we weld. Now, that height may change in your world. It may be 3, it may be 4. You'll just have to play with it. But what you can do is then go ahead and weld the door to that piston. Come into your controller, drop the initial position down 3 to line it up in the frame. Close in your top with a block that actually works. Close in your top, and you have a functional door again, with the textures in the correct location. Now feel free to experiment with that, with these textures, however you want. I just really like the look of the wood 1 for the doors, so that's what's worked for me. I'll have, like I said, I'll have this door, I'll have this frame in the Steam Workshop, I'll have the other frame in the Steam Workshop. And it's not just wood. I was playing around, and you can successfully use the same design with pipes. Or my defensive door of doom, to keep those pesky haybots away. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can make some doors. I really liked this project. It was a lot of fun. There's some alternative ways, if you want to see how I was messing around, that you can do the pushing with the pistons here and let gravity pull it down. It's a little different. I really like the overhead, but the same basic concepts apply. Again, my name is Zarklin. This was Now Let Us Play. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, there's buttons down there. You guys know what to do. I appreciate it. If you want to see more, let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Have a good night.